Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Logan. I'm the Senior National Account Manager for Workplace Mental Health at the Canadian Mental Health Association, specializing in the Not Myself Today campaign. You're all on board to view an orientation session of our new version 7.0 campaign, and I'm delighted to welcome you all here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. There are a couple of handouts that I have uploaded onto our dashboard. One of them is the presentation that you're going to be watching. Another is our campaign planning tool. So if you want to download these at any time, feel free to do so. You are all placed on mute right now, and I'm going to recommend if you have questions or comments, I would love to keep this as interactive as you would like it to be. Please take a look at your GoToMeeting dashboard, and you can see where there is an area where you can ask questions or to chat. I will be pausing during the course of my discussion with you to answer any questions that you might have. Generally speaking, what I want to achieve today is just give you an idea of how you can take the wonderful tools that we have made available in the Not Myself Today initiative and utilize them to the best to your abilities within your organization. So that being said, I'm going to be giving you an overview of Not Myself Today. This is going to be in the form of a PowerPoint presentation that should take probably, I would guess, about half an hour, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to be sharing some ideas and best practices for success, and also end our discussion with a digital tour of our members portal. What you'll find for those who are legacy clients with us, that we've made some very significant changes to our members portal in a very, very interactive and positive way. So I'm going to be going through all of the detail of the portal with you as well. So that's how we're going to spend the next hour. I'm going to be very mindful of time, and hopefully we'll be able to end on time. And like I had mentioned earlier, feel free to reach out if you have any questions that you'd like to ask. Just one little plug for CMHA. We are 101 years old, providing mental health services and advocacy in more than 330 locations across the country. Not Myself Today is actually housed in CMHA's national office. And we're comprised of about maybe 35 individuals who work on national programs and advocacy on a national scope. So you're in good hands. We've got a lot of clinical expertise in our organization that supports us at every turn. I just want to start by saying we all have mental health, and so many people in this day and age confuse the notion of mental health with mental illness. Now, when you take a look at the concept of physical health, when we think of the concept of physical health, we think, you know, good diet, exercise, get the right amount of sleep, the right amount of socialization. There's lots of really great proactive things we can do in order to maintain our physical health. Interestingly enough, when you bring up the topic of mental health, most people think of bipolar disorder, stress disorders, anxiety. They instantly go to the notion of mental illness as opposed to the proactive approach to creating a mentally healthy work environment. That's what you'll find with Not Myself Today, is that we very much focus on the proactive so that we can learn how to create open and supportive work environments and be very proactive in maintaining our mental health. So 5 out of 5 of us, we all have mental health. 1 in 5 has got a mental illness. And what we are learning how to do is support those with mental illness, because one of the things as you get more and more exposed to Not Myself Today is that we all have mental health. And we should not have predetermined judgments about those with mental illness, because it is a very real illness. I'm going to give you an overview of Not Myself Today, and just start by saying that these are the 3 specific areas of desired outcome that Not Myself Today focuses on. Many of you, if it's your first year, are really excited to start building some awareness and creating, a foundational level of understanding about mental health and mental illness. We've got a very wonderful section where we're reducing stigma. And for the sake of this discussion, a quick definition of stigma would be a collection of lies and untruths about mental illness that we all tend to believe. Mental illness can be a very deep and clinical topic, and most of us are not equipped to have deep clinical discussions such as those. So when we hear lies of stigma, we oftentimes sort of half believe them and kind of keep them in the back of our mind. And what that does is actually create some biases within our own understanding of mental health and mental illness. So when we're talking about reducing stigma with Not Myself Today, what we want to do is replace those lies about mental illness with the truth about mental illness. An example of a lie would be, mental illness is just a personal sign of weakness. Those with mental illness have just got to learn how to try harder and think positive thoughts. What we need to do is very much validate with employees that mental illness is a real illness. And it's only right that we learn how to be supportive of those with mental illness. It's not a personal sign of weakness. And we also enable you, the employer, to demonstrate the fact that you are creating a safe and supportive workplace culture. So every single element of Not Myself Today is designed to deliver up achievements in these specific areas of desired outcomes. What you'll find is Not Myself Today is very safe and non-threatening. It's evidence-informed, even though Not Myself Today is very much created in the depths of clinical research and clinical knowledge. The resulting tools that we have for workplaces to engage their employees in learning have got all of that clinical stuff removed and replaced with very easy to understand, practical ways of how I, an employee of my organization, can start contributing towards creating a mentally healthy work environment as opposed to a judgmental one. Our appeal is very universal. 97% of employees love learning through Not Myself Today. So sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it. And what you'll find is that we do have a very unique way of taking the heaviness out of the topic of mental illness and making it very, very approachable. As well, our organization was created by the federal organization that created our national standard for psychological health and safety in the workplace. That is the Mental Health Commission of Canada. And even though we've not been part of them, of that organization for several years, just recognize that Not Myself Today was designed by the organization that created our national standard and is designed to become an easy way for Canadian organizations and American organizations to achieve the national standard within their workplaces. There are three specific audiences with Not Myself Today. For those who are legacy clients, we've changed our terminology a little bit. Leaders would be what was considered the former campaign champions. So if you are a leader of the Not Myself Today in your organization, you are going to be in charge of the deployment strategy, which activities you want to use when, and you're going to be amassing a group of ambassadors that are going to help you to roll Not Myself Today out within your organization. Now, if you are with a smaller organization, oftentimes leaders and ambassadors are the same person. It's only in larger organizations where we start seeing that division where you've got multiple locations across the country. But if you're with a single office or a smaller organization, chances are you would be a leader and an ambassador. And I'm going to be defining the roles of both of those. We also have a specific audience for employees, and our members portal is divided accordingly as well. When we talk about a Not Myself Today leader, as I'd mentioned, you're there to oversee the planning, implementation, and evaluation of Not Myself Today in your workplace. It's great if you can develop a bit of a deployment strategy. Many of you are scrambling right now because Mental Health Week is coming up, starting on the 6th of May. And so what's nice is that if you've just received your toolkits, you don't necessarily have to have every single thing planned to the nines for the entire year. It's okay if you just sort of focus in on Mental Health Week, determine what activities you want to introduce during Mental Health Week, and then have the luxury of the rest of the summer to figure out how it is that you want to deploy some of the other activities within Not Myself Today. So if you're late coming to the table, don't worry, you don't have to be an expert on every single activity. You just have to know the ones that you want to initially focus in on, and have a bit of a plan for that. You're also going to be empowering a team of ambassadors to help you to be that conduit of information during regular team meetings. Now, I'm just going to take a quick moment to illustrate the fact that best practice for deployment with Not Myself Today is to utilize either your existing management structure in your organization, or coupled with ambassadors who are individuals who may not necessarily be in management, but really have a passion for mental health and creating mentally healthy work environments. With the tools of Not Myself Today, it's a great idea to have a plan where you can be introducing little 5 or 10 minute icebreaker sessions during regular team meetings, ideally once a week, maybe as infrequently as once a month. But what we want to do is literally have this continuity of messaging where you're weaving the whole notion of mental health into the very fabric of your organization. Ambassadors are individuals who are going to be having these 5 or 10 minute learning discussions within your team. So it's really great if you can amass a group of individuals who really want to help you deploy Not Myself Today, and take off some of the pressure from those who are leaders in your organization. We do recommend that you familiarize yourselves with both the Leader's Guide and the Ambassador's Guide, because as leaders, you're kind of overseeing the ambassadors that are working within the campaign as well. So those are the primary functions of a leader. I also want to mention that it's usually the leaders that are focused on creating awareness, and just getting the messaging out to employees. So it's a pretty big role, yet a very simplified role, and we've got some great tools that will enable you to better understand your role as a leader. When we talk about ambassadors, what we want to do is really connect with individuals in your workplace who just have a passion for employee wellness and mental health. Oftentimes our ambassadors will come from our existing employee wellness committee. If you've got any kind of ambassadors like that are already structured in your workplace, usually they're pretty open to including a bit of a mental health element into their role as being part of employee wellness. So as I mentioned before, you're there to lead individuals, typically through regular team meetings, with some of the Not Myself Today materials. And we just want to make sure that you understand, and this is for both ambassadors and leaders, that your role is to facilitate discussions. We give you the discussion topic. Sometimes you're just reading a card encouraging employee feedback on the topic. Sometimes you're just watching a video and having a discussion about the video afterwards. But the key thing is that we want you to be that conduit of information and encourage discussions among your teammates. Keep in mind, you are not there to diagnose, nor are you there to provide counseling in any way, shape, or form. Chances are the group of us are not mental health professionals, and we're not qualified to do that. What we are there to do is engage employees in learning. The socialization element is huge, and I really encourage you to try and be open and get employees interested in commenting on some of the learning activities. And then if an employee comes to you, maybe later on, indicating that they think they may have an issue, you're there to be an empathetic ear and then to walk them over to the window into your EAP, EFAP programs, if you have them, in order to get the professional help that they need. If you do not have EAP, EFAP programs in your organization, then there are some local mental health helps that you should be able to access on behalf of employees. So not there to be the mental health professional, just there to facilitate and direct people to the appropriate area to get the professional help that they might need. We've got amazing new leader guides, and I just want to encourage leaders to read both the Leader's Guide and the Ambassador's Guide. We would have provided them to you digitally. And they're very easy to read. They're very simple by design, so that your role as a leader, in fact, will be simplified as well. The Ambassador's Guide is very focused on the engagement activities specifically, and we tell you the purpose of each activity, the tools that you need from your toolkit, how to run the activity, and some of the key messages that you'll need as you're hosting these activities. So we do encourage everyone on this webinar to read through the guides and just become familiar with the different elements that are contained therein and the different roles that are part of Not Myself Today. When we talk about leaders, we're talking about individuals who are there to build awareness and understanding and create a level of interest among employees. And these are some examples of digital and physical tools that we have contained in our members portal and in your physical toolkits that can do that. We've got a door hanger here that should be hung on the door of any and every ambassador you have within your organization. What we want to do is make employees aware of where they can go, a safe place where they can go to ask simple questions. We've got some great infographics that are really lovely at building awareness. Bottom left-hand side of my screen is an example of our mental health tip of the week. Now, we have got a new digital members portal that automatically displays the mental health tip of the week. But as leaders, if you are a leader on this webinar, you also have access to the digital files where you can send these tips. You can pick and choose them according to the activities that you have, send them out via email broadcast, upload them to your intranet, so when employees log in, they get that friendly reminder. What's really, really important is that there's got to be a continuity of messaging when we're working on transforming a workplace culture. And these tips of the week are amazing. Employees love them. They're all about self-care, building resilience, making good choices, building healthy relationships. And when you've got that regularity of messaging, that's what's going to keep the whole topic of mental health top of mind. So I hope you will engage in these awareness building materials just to create some employee interest as you move forward. Also, from a leader's perspective, we've got sample email communications, we've got senior leaders briefing notes. One thing I should mention is that the more senior the individual is in your organization who may be introducing and encouraging employees to get involved with mental health and Not Myself Today, the more senior level that person is, the better the traction you'll tend to get. And we keep the communications very, very simple. And anyone who is on this webinar who's from communications are going to love the elements that we've put together for you. I've always found that it's always easier to edit someone else's document than it is to create my own from scratch. So that's what these are, a whole bunch of documents that you can use as the foundation for presentations, for outreaches, and you can edit them to your preference. This is on the far right-hand side is an example of our kickoff poster. And with Mental Health Week coming up, starting on the 6th of May, I do recommend that you get access to this poster online. I'll show you where it's located and just give the date, the time, and location of whatever kickoff event you have planned during Mental Health Week. All of our tools are portable through a variety of different media, whether it's computer, whether it's smartphone, whether it's tablets. We do not actually have an app for a smartphone, but we are smartphone friendly. So all of the functionality that you have on the Not Myself Today dashboard is smartphone friendly and iPad friendly. Just to give you an idea of the content and structure of what version 7.0 is all about, what we've done is created 6 different modules. And what's really exciting, and this was very, very intentional, we have got a little suite of resources that are designed to deliver the learning on each one of these modules. So each module has got its own engagement activity. Most of them have got physical tools in the toolkit. They all have digital tools that are there to support them. We've got a poster that identifies that particular module, and we have an introductory video that introduces the concept of what the learning is all about. And I'm going to walk you through each one of these modules so that you have an understanding about what these engagement activities are like. Now, as we talk about the engagement activities, realize that this is typically a function of the ambassadors. So if you are an ambassador attending this orientation session, I want you to perk your ears up because this is all about you. So we've got a great mental health quiz. It's called The Facts of the Matter. And what we've done is taken the 6 different topics that I had on the slide immediately previous, and we've created a number of questions that comprise the quiz. So the quiz in and of itself takes 10 questions and gives employees the opportunity to answer, to learn as they go along, and to get a score. What's nice about the way we've set up the breadth of this quiz is the fact that every time an employee logs in, there's going to be a dynamic allocation of 10 questions that is being pulled from a pool of 90 different questions. So what that means is that employees will, whenever they take the quiz, they're going to be met with a new set of questions. So we do encourage you as ambassadors to encourage your coworkers and colleagues to go back and revisit the quiz on a regular basis. Maybe you want to make the quiz a focus of, your first team meeting of every month, for example. Let's do another quiz and see how we do. There's a wonderful video that would be a great way to start off the introduction into mental health and mental illness 101. And all of our videos, they're brand new in version 7.0, created by mental health professionals. We've got Dr. Jody Samra, who had done a number of our videos in previous years. And we also have Rumit Billen, who's a PhD. She's very much focused on resilience. So she's a resilience expert. And all of our videos are sort of focused in with these mental health professionals in mind. They're all between 3 and 5 minutes in length, so they don't take a lot of employee time. And they're really, really great introductions. We also have printable fact sheets. So when you're introducing a topic, you can pre-print these, or you can just direct employees to get access to these. So this would be a wonderful introduction that you might want to engage your employees in during Mental Health Week. We've also got an awesome module that's all about talking about mental health. And what you're looking at in the picture is examples of our Let's Get Talking conversation starters. So these are very, very well received during regular team meetings. We take very common workplace mental health scenarios and just sort of paint a scenario. And the idea with the ambassadors is to encourage the coworkers and colleagues around the boardroom table to offer comment on what you think they would do in a situation like that. The conversations are very, very real. Employees can relate to the topics in a really great way, and they're amazing to start conversations to happen. Now, if you wanted to, maybe during Mental Health Week or other events where you've got more than 5 or 10 minutes of employee time. You could even use these conversation starters in workshops. If you want to do a lunch and learn session and maybe group people into, smaller subgroups, put up the questions and then get everyone to weigh in with their responses to that. That's a really great way to adapt these tools into a work group type environment. We've got conversations for employees to have with employees. There's also a navy blue deck of cards in your physical toolkits as well as in the digital tools that is for managers to have conversations with their team members when they start noticing different behavior changes or issues that may be stirring up within the employee population. I found with version 7.0 that we've got some great management tools that are going to help managers to be able to do the right thing and manage with mental health in mind. Awesome video that's called Talking About Stigma, and wonderful printable fact sheets that are for employees disclosing a mental health condition at work, and for managers supporting the mental health of your team, as well as language do's and don'ts. So for those of you who have been exposed to conversation starters before, we've got new discussions that are taking place. And for those who have never experienced these before, they are amazing. They're so easy to use, and managers and ambassadors love engaging with these tools because all they do is read a scenario and encourage feedback. So I hope you'll enjoy using those within your teams. Managing your mood. Our mood button activity with version 7.0 is called Stop and Think. And what we want to do is really ask employees, how are you really feeling? Because so many of us are just, oh, fine, happy, awesome, right? But when you scratch beneath the surface of that, we may be, very stressed or depressed or anxious. So what we want to do is, as leaders, demonstrate the fact that we can be transparent about our moods. So if you want to wear a positive mood button and a not so positive mood button, that would be ideal. And then just demonstrate to employees that, at our organization, it's okay to not always feel okay. And we don't have to worry about, demonstrating the fact that we may not be always on our A game, because that's a very normal human condition that happens all the time to everyone. We've got a great digital tool that's called a mood meter, and I'm going to show you this when we move over to the digital portal. But all employees, all ambassadors, all leaders have got their own personal digital desktop. And there's a little mood meter that is part of everyone's desktop that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Awesome video managing your moods, and the fact sheet that can be used to hand out to employees. Train your brain to master your mood. Wonderful, wonderful resources. Now, for those who are first-year clients, mood buttons are wildly popular. And whatever activity you're going to start with during Mental Health Week, we recommend you have your mood buttons either in the container that's provided in your toolkits or laid out on the tables. Have your printable emoji stickers available as well, and just have those available. And, the message with employees is that, at our workplace, it's okay to not always feel okay. So how are you really feeling? And start showing that transparency within your workplaces. Modular 4 is all about practicing positivity, and we've got some awesome positivity activities in version 7.0. What you're looking at here is a Q&A corner. It's a big wall banner that you would have in your physical toolkits. It's about 2 feet wide by 3 feet tall, and we give you weekly topics. Maybe as ambassadors, when you're going into regular team meetings, and you don't have a lot of time, why don't you just identify, hey, have you guys seen the Q&A corner topic this week? Let's make sure we graffiti our comments into it. So, it can be as simple as a 15-second discussion like that, just to keep the whole notion of mental health and mental illness very much top of mind. Kindness cards are wonderful. There's a digital tool where you can actually print off your cards individually as well. But in your toolkits, you've got a pad or more of these, depending on the size of your organization. What we find is that kindness in the workplace is very, very, very well received. And best practice for most of our clients is to host almost like a quarterly event, have, a quarterly positivity at work event, and just, have a 1 week focus. Here's kindness cards. Let's spread some love, spread some recognition, spread some appreciation to our coworkers and colleagues. Employees love these cards, and they really are great at providing that level of recognition. And I know I had one client who had, one of their custodial workers come and help fix something on her desk. And she gave him a kindness card afterwards saying, I owe you a high five because you helped me out today. And he came back to her desk with, tears in his eyes saying, wow, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that today. So that little bit of kindness goes an awfully long way to starting to create these open and supportive workplace environments. So, and they're all meant for you to have fun with them, so I hope that you do. We also have a random acts of kindness mission that I'm going to show you on the desktop. It's awesome, as well as the video, as well as the quick and easy ways to practice gratitude fact sheet. Stress and resilience is amazing. We've got a great introductory video, tips on how to de-stress. What I want to focus in on is the team stress busting activities, which is a really cool way for managers to engage discussions with their teams about various stress triggers, sharing best practices, how to build resilience, and just getting more engagement within their teams when it comes to stress in the workplace. Two great videos, building resilience and understanding stress, because there is good stress and there is bad stress, right? So it's really important that we have an understanding of the difference between those. So if you wanted to have a specific focus on stress in the workplace, keep in mind, we've got not one video, but two. We've got a variety of different activities. You can take the whole topic of stress and spread it out over a month or two and just really immerse employees in that topical discussion if that is how you choose to deploy. And we're going to talk about different deployment options a little further ahead. We also have a lovely emotional intelligence game that's all about highlighting the 5 core skill types of emotional intelligence. It's a sorting game. It causes employees to think about specific character traits or personality traits and try and reconcile them to the 5 core skill types. There's self-motivation, self-awareness, there's empathy, there's sorry, I'm going to forget the other 2, but I'll be able to show you those more specifically when we move on to the portal. So lots and lots of really cool activities that employees will love. And I just really want to encourage you to give some thought as to how you would want to deploy these. And certainly if you have any questions about some choices that you want to make, both my colleague Louise and I are more than happy to field any questions that you have and give you some ideas. So as I've mentioned earlier, you have got a number of different rollout options. And with the 6 different modules, you can choose one module and work through all of the elements within that module before you move on to the next module. You can have quarterly events. So some great quarterly events would be, building awareness, positivity at work, stress in the workplace, and emotional intelligence, for example. So if you wanted to have a quarterly focus on each of those topics, we give you lots and lots of tools that will enable you to do that. You can also augment other information from other sources into some of the learning. If you wanted to have your EAP provider come in, for example, and have a discussion about the different elements that they offer through EAP, you can sort of integrate that into a Not Myself Today rollout as well. And the important thing is this bottom bullet point is to keep up the momentum. There's going to be a lot of hype during Mental Health Week. There's going to be a lot of activities being introduced, awareness building materials that employees have never seen before. Maybe you've never even touched on the topic of mental health and mental illness. Not to mention all the media coverage that goes along with it. There's a lot of hype in Canada about mental health during Mental Health Week. So there's a lot of momentum that's created as a result. The important thing is to keep the continuity of messaging going so that you can ride that momentum throughout the year. That's why Not Myself Today is designed to be spread out throughout the course of the year so that you can provide employees with that friendly reminder and keep that momentum going. These are some key events that we should all be aware of. Mental Health Week is coming up. Ride, Don't Hide, Mental Illness Awareness Week during the month of October. World Mental Health Day is also in October. Bell Let's Talk in January, and we still have Healthy Workplaces Month during the month of October as well. So October is pretty top heavy. Some organizations will start some of their outreach and activities during the month of September and spill into October. But these would be natural conduits for you to sort of jump on board and do some Not Myself Today activities within your employee base. We also have a lovely campaign planner that is a digital tick box. You can print them off and have a physical copy if you want. That gives you a list of all of the elements that are part of Not Myself Today. So as you're doing your planning, you can tick off what you've already used so that you know what's left to be used, and just organize your approach as you plan the work and work the plan. I'm going to give you a demonstration of our members portal. Again, we've got a portal for leaders, for ambassadors, and for employees. And as I migrate my screen over to the web portal, I'd like to encourage all of you to send in your questions, send in your chat, and I'll address those before I get into the portal. So bear with me, and please, you have questions, I'd love to hear them. Let's see, someone's got their hand up. It appears as though some people weren't able to connect. That's unfortunate. Let's go into questions. I'm having trouble finding the 52 tips. Terry, I'll show you where those are. Point me to the whole audience of the tips, okay? Just received access to my online toolkit. Can we have more than one leader for our organization? The answer to that question, can we have more than one leader for our organization? The answer is yes, absolutely. But one thing that you want to keep in mind is that the leaders have got access to your organization's personal bulletin board that is part of Not Myself Today. So whoever it is that you're giving that leadership access code to, they've got to be trustworthy to the point where they would not be interfering with inappropriate messaging. If you're an organization of 100 people and you want to have 95 leaders, that's totally fine with us. But just make sure that you're being discerning as to who gets that leader access. I'm new to the program. Can you clarify that our base package is based on a yearly basis? Yes, exactly 1 year. Once a year is up, do we lose access to our online portal? The question there is a great one. If your organization chooses to renew to the coming year's Not Myself Today campaign before your expiry, you would automatically get access to both the existing portal as well as the new portal that you'd be subscribing to. If in fact your organization decides to stop utilizing Not Myself Today after your 1 year period is up, then you will no longer have access to the digital portal or have access to the use of any of the materials that are part of Not Myself Today. So good questions, lots of questions. And now I'm just going to move on to our portal so that I can give you some highlights there. So what's nice about our new portal is the look and feel. What we've done, I'm just going to minimize out of that. We've created a desktop that everyone gets a view into. Remember I was talking about how we've got a digital mood meter. This is what employees see all the time. In essence, when they go in to change their mood, and I'll change mine now, these are the different moods that we have to choose from. There are current mood button selection. What we are planning on doing is adding more moods to it. So right now, our digital portal is still a work in progress. But right now, I want to say that I'm really grateful because technology is working today. And one of the challenges that I have, because I rely on technology so heavily, is that sometimes I get stressed because it doesn't always work intuitively the way I think it will. So what's nice about creating your mood is that every time an employee logs in, they will have the opportunity to change their mood as the day changes. We're working on one significant upgrade to our portal that we're hoping will launch by the first week of May, where you as leaders and employees as well can actually go back and take a look at their mood history. There'll be like a cloud, and their most chosen mood is going to appear the biggest in a mood button, and then the smaller moods that will appear around it. And what's nice is leaders of the organization, this is part of the leaders dashboard privilege, is that you can see the top moods within your organization. So you'll be able to tell, you know, what general mood your employees are feeling. This is our Random Acts of Kindness mission, and I love this. Praise a colleague to their boss, and it has a little countdown. It's giving me 6 days, 21 hours, and 31 minutes for me to actually complete this mission. The other week I was on a train out to Toronto, and when I logged into Not Myself Today's portal, my mission was to, you know, compliment one of your senior leaders. So I'm on the train. I, send a little email off to my boss saying, you know, I just want to thank you for your dedication to our cause. I really enjoy working with you, and I appreciate how we all work together as a team. Just a simple little message like that is going to start causing positivity to happen in your workplace. So my boss received this email from me. He has no idea why I was being so complimentary to him, but this is the type of positivity that's going to be showing up in your workplace. So let's say, for example, I praised a colleague to their boss, and I've already completed that. I'll go to mission complete, and that mission is complete. Then I go to my next mission, and I can retrieve my mission. Add a little cheer to your outgoing voice message. Oh, isn't that cute? Now, here's the interesting thing. When I go back to my dashboard, which is where I had started from, that mission is now updated, and it's giving me the 6 days and 23 hours to get that completed. So it's just a fun little interactive tool that's going to drive employees to the portal. We've got some CMHA news elements that are sort of roll through as well. This is where the mental health tip of the week is. Now, one of the things that I verified with our web developers is that eventually these boxes are going to shrink down so that they just encompass the message. Right now, they're a little bit big. So if we don't need the space, we're not going to use it, but that's something that we're working on right now. So keep in mind, this digital tool is still a bit of a work in progress. Planning and setup, I think you guys are going to love this. This is your own personal bulletin board. Because we've changed the login structure of Not Myself Today, what you're doing now is seeing a bulletin board that only your employees can see. So you actually, as leaders, have the chance to update this with information. And I'm going to show you when we get more in depth into our digital tools what this looks like. But all of this I had inputted myself, and you can do the very same as leaders of your organization. There's also the orientation sessions for sign up, and any questions. When you ask questions here, they automatically get fed into our central database and then will be distributed for either Louise or I to be able to provide the feedback to you on. So very different look and feel of the dashboard. If you are a bilingual client, when you click on French, it's going to ask you to log in, and it'll take you right to the French portal. And I've got to log in again because I went away, didn't I? Bear with me. There we go. So this is what the dashboard looks like. Where you get into some of the interesting tools of the dashboard is when you click on this little triple bar. Now, this is a leaders dashboard, and this dashboard has got welcome leaders, mental health toolkit, planning and setup, engaging leadership. Every single item of Not Myself Today appears on the leaders dashboard. What's interesting is that when you move to the ambassadors dashboard, there are some elements that are missing. For example, ambassadors aren't responsible for planning and setup, nor are they responsible for engaging leadership, nor are they responsible for kicking it off or communication tools. So the ambassadors portal has got these 4 elements removed. And when employees log in, they will not have access to the engagement activities. So when you log in as a leader, you see everything right out of the gate. And then the menu options are skewed according to the level of access that you have. I do encourage all of you to jump on board the web portal and take a look at all the tools that are there. I'm just going to cherry pick a few things in the interest of time. When you click on this link, Mental Health Toolkit, what you are looking at is the employee website. So these are the tools that employees are given to be able to engage in the learning. So if employees, for example, wanted to take the emotional intelligence test, they'd click here, they'd take the quiz, and this is the explanation of the 5 different core skill types that are part of being emotionally intelligent. So when you click on the Mental Health Toolkit, just realize this is an employee's view of what it is that they get on their portal. When we get into planning and setup, this is very specific to leaders. This is where we have a lot of the downloadable resources that you'd need. Someone was asking, where do I find the mood stickers? There they are. This is also where you can print more posters. You can generate your logo onto our posters. You want more web banners, door hangers, all that stuff is here. This is also where the campaign planner is with the little tick boxes as you use resources throughout the year. So this is a great planning and setup tool for leaders. Also for leaders is some of the printable resources here, the senior leaders briefing note and a senior leaders email template. One of the things that we do recommend is that you utilize some kind of senior leader broadcast out to your employees about some of the events that are happening during Mental Health Week. And these briefing notes and email templates will be really, really helpful to enable you to do that. If you wanted your ambassadors to also have an outreach, that's an email template that they can use. So these are just tools to start engaging in some outreach. When it comes to kicking it off, these are some of the resources that we have. I showed you the picture in my presentation about the kickoff poster. You can choose your size. And we also have an awesome kickoff presentation that you can download here. A lot of it contains, similar messaging to the presentation that is part of our orientation session, but with a more of a high level detail. and you can see some of the new videos that we have. This would be a great video for you to show when you're kicking off Not Myself Today in your organization, because it just gives employees an introduction about what Not Myself Today is all about. You're going to love the new videos that we have. So still on the leaders side of things, this is the communication tool that I was showing you earlier, that I was talking about earlier. This is your own private bulletin board for activities within your organization. So let's say, for example, I want to have a new event. I'm going to go here and I'm going to click Add New Post. You'll see here that you have the option of adding an event. You can upload a document. Maybe what a lot of best practices are now is to upload your current EAP PDFs that you have through your service providers. Great, easy access for employees to get a hold of that information. You can upload audio, or you can upload video clips. What's really neat, a neat idea with regards to video clips, is to have your senior executive do a little video about, the importance of mental health in your workplace, and, the importance of participating in some of the learning activities that employees will be exposed to during the course of the year. And you can upload that video so it's always on your desktop. So let's say I wanted to introduce a new event. I will call it, well, I'm going to try a new one. How about therapy dogs, which are such a fun activity if any of you have got access to them. And the thing is, we're going to have therapy dogs in the reception at 12 noon. And I'm going to put in a date, and I'm going to pick it as being, let's do that date. And I'm going to click Submit. So now my therapy dog shows up here. When I go up to my dashboard, when I'm logging in and when all employees log in, they're going to be looking at all the different elements and go, oh, hey, therapy dog, that's new. So that's how easy it is to get communications out to your organization. And like I said, these communications are available only to individuals who have your specific access codes. It's also easy to delete and edit as is needed. So I hope you enjoy using that tool. Sometimes communications can be a challenge, so this is a great way to be able to enhance that. When we talk about engagement activities, this is the how-to piece on all of the activities that are part of Not Myself Today. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through all of these individually, but just to show you, I don't know, let's talk about spread positivity. I'm going to click on that link. I hope it opens quickly because we don't have a lot of time. And here it is. This is the activity. This is the instruction. This is the resources that you need in order to run the activity. So this particular view of instruction is available for leaders and for ambassadors. So something to keep in mind. So when you look at engagement activities, just realize this is the how-to piece. How do I run this? We've got some awesome tools and resources. This is where you can download your kindness cards, your resource sheets. What's really neat about this section as well is the video showcase. So we take all the Not Myself Today videos, and as leaders, this is the view that you get. As a matter of fact, as ambassadors, this is also the view that you get, as well as employees get to view all of these videos from this particular link. So these are all the videos we have. We just want to keep it easy. Maybe you guys want to still consider having a popcorn and a movie event. Those are always really fun ways to engage employees in learning and just sort of take the heaviness out of the topic. And we also have a section that's all about further support. So we've got some crisis support that are specific to Canada. We also have American clients. I'm not sure what we can do with regards to American information, but it's something that we're researching right now. We also have some great tools for viewing videos. And I just want to click on this for a moment. These are, Canadian organizations who are absolutely doing great guns with mental health in their workplaces. And as leaders in the organization, you'd be interested to hear some of their take on the elements that they're introducing and some of the approaches that they have in their experiences. There's a lot of learning that's associated with Not Myself Today. And I encourage you all to become familiar with all these different options. Now, I'm going to be taking a look at questions again, and then I'm going to wrap up with another moment or two on the PowerPoint. So feel free if you have questions. Pardon me while I'm reading through them. Go over to chat. We're all good. Go over to questions. No, I think we're all good. So I'm sure there must be other questions that you have. So please feel free to reach out with those. We're going to be on for another couple minutes. So please make your questions available. I'm happy to show them and to discuss them. So I just wanted to end by giving you a bit of a snapshot on what other organizations have done with Not Myself Today tools. The key thing is to have fun with the elements. A lot of our first year clients, they'll phone Louise and I up and say, oh my goodness, it's like getting a Christmas present and it's not even Christmas. Because there's so many fun ways that you can engage employees in learning. And it's just exciting to know that you as leaders in your organization are empowered to start making positive change in your workplace. So these are what some of our clients have done. I don't know if any of you have ever thought about creating your own mood wall. This is a professional mood wall that we have available for rental. But you can always create your own. You can even have like a desktop, not a desktop, but a room divider, a fabric room divider, and put a little picture frame, an empty picture frame in the middle, and have a bunch of mood buttons alongside of it, and then just get employees to put their mood inside the center of the frame. Really fun ways that you can engage in the mood button activity. And also to say, when there's food, there is joy. And this is one of our East Coast clients who made this amazing tray of cupcakes. And you can see how she very cleverly incorporated mood buttons, or she actually utilized mood stickers to be able to create that mental health element to their yummy treats that they have. Other fun ways to create your own photo boards. We have professional photo boards that are available for purchase as well. But just wanted to give you an idea of some of the creative ways that these elements are being used. So I'm going to just check questions one more time. And I'm going to leave the portal open for another 5 minutes in case there are some of the handouts that you want to download. And I've got hands up, but I don't know how to get people on. Okay. So let's see. So I was just asking someone what their question is. If you have questions, please feel free. I want to end this discussion with the fact that you may be pioneering something brand new in your organization. You may be brand new to Not Myself Today. Your organization may be brand new to the whole concept of mental health. That being said, just have some reassurance to know that 97% of employees who get exposed to Not Myself Today learning really appreciate the learning. We're always going to have those 2 or 3% skeptics, but realize that if you've got a room of 100 people, you got 97 of them coming up to you saying, wow, this is so awesome. Thank you for introducing this to our organization. I love it. that is the typical reaction that you're going to be getting. So I hope that gives you some confidence in your approach with employees, recognizing that they love learning through not myself today methods. So I hope that gives you some confidence. Denise, thank you for that. I'm not able to locate the digital tips. And this was an element that we were planning to upload. Let me see if I have them here. And right now we do not have the tips of the week on our portal. So email Louise or I, whoever your prime contact is, and we will email them to you. Like I said, the portal is still in the process of being constructed, so that's one of the elements that we don't have. We've got the stickers, but we don't have the tips yet. But we do have them on our desktop. So reach out to either Louise or I so that we can provide you with that information. Thank you, Denise. I'm just going to check to see if there's anyone else. And sorry, I'm not the best when it comes to information, or using technology, I should say. All right, so I think that does it for now. I want to thank everyone for your time and attention. I want to wish you all the best with your rollout. And remember, we are a very client-focused organization, so feel free to reach out to either Louise or I with any questions that we might be able to help you out with. All the best. Good luck. Bye-bye.